Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. In this video series, we are working on this Phalaenopsis orchid that I grow as a houseplant. And we have shined some leaves, and we have talked about cold damage. And now I'm going to trim this guy up. We have an old spike here that is completely drying up on it. And we have a few choices of how to handle this. I'm going to go over those choices and then ultimately make a decision on how we should handle this spike here. So you can see it's a long spent spike. It's from last year. I just haven't got to the plant yet. This is a very old phal. As you can see, there's lots of roots, but the actual plant starts way up 6 inches above the pot. So first off, what you need to do for trimming a spike like this is sterilize your scissors. Make sure they're nice and clean. I use some isopropyl alcohol on this to make sure they're sterilized. That is just a nice, easy way to do it. And from there, we can get rid of this ratty bit first, because that's definitely no good whatsoever. And now I have a choice. I can try to get this guy to rebloom on this spike. And you may just do it naturally, especially now that this tip has died. Sometimes that tip will stay alive for seemingly literally like years. But it seems like it's dried up on its own. So it could bloom off any one of these nodes. Usually that happens by initiating a bit of damage here. So I could for sure cut this spike like this, and I bet you this node or this node, probably not the bottom ones, would grow a new orchid or a new spike on it. But I'm going to let this guy have a rest, and I think I'm going to trim him right down. So what we want to do is I like to leave, especially in this case, there's a nice little short node here. And I'm going to leave one tiny little node on here, just in case. So we're going to zoom in here. Hopefully you're going to be able to see that nicely. So this node is going to go, but I think this node is going to stay. It's only about ½ an inch in from the plant. And a node is a nice safe spot. If it was to start to rot and die back because something happened and infection got in, remember we're making fresh cuts here, so something could get in there. The node is likely a good spot where any kind of damage or infection would stop. And there we go. The last thing I'm going to do to this is put a little touch of cinnamon on this here. And that is going to prevent any infection. Cinnamon is an antibacterial and works really good for situations like this. So we're going to just take a pinch of cinnamon from the cupboard here. There we go. You can see that in my hand. We're very zoomed in because I'm going to be working way back here. So let's get you focused back on this stem here. Now what I like to do is just take a little bit of the cinnamon in my fingers and pinch it onto the stem and push it in so that it's all making a barrier. Get it right inside the cut there. And that way, that is very unlikely to get infected now with anything. Remember, we've sterilized our scissors already, and now with the added cinnamon, you should have a happy plant that is going to grow a new flower spike. And if we back you back up again, flower spikes on phals, 99% of the time, grow under the third leaf. So you have 1, 2, 3. So the next spike is probably going to come from in here. Or maybe I counted that. No, yeah, that's the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, and then under the third leaf will be right here, opposite the side. So that's where I can expect a new spike to grow. It's not going to probably grow from down here. It's going to grow from in there. And that's what we're going to look for in the springtime. So anyways, I hope you like this video on how to trim a Phalaenopsis spike. And if you want to see more videos like that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We have one more video in this video series of working on houseplants today, or working on my Phalaenopsis houseplant today, and that will be coming up next.